Hello everyone, can everybody see me clearly? Can everybody see me well? Good. Good afternoon, good morning, good night from wherever you are viewing me from. I hope we're all well today. Welcome to today's episode of Modesty's Property Corner. This is season number 1, episode number 38. You know who I am already. Do I need any more introduction? Ikenna Umezudike is your man. I'm here again today to share another session packed with knowledge, packed with information, packed with property and mortgages education with you. That's what I love doing. I love sharing these moments with you. I love sharing this education with you. I love sharing this information with you. And like I always say, I will try as much as possible to make sure that whatever I know, you know it. Okay? Because I believe in informed client base, informed fan base. The more informed my fans and my clients are, the better the life is for me, because it makes my job a lot easier. It makes my connections with you a lot easier. So today, what I have done, as you can see, I'm standing, so I'm very excited about today. On Monday, my session on Monday, I did it standing because I've been sitting talking to you guys for a very long time. I just feel bored sitting and talking to you because I feel like, I want to connect more with you standing and expressing myself the way I am doing, because that kind of brings out the real energy that I have and the real passion and affection that I have for this program. So I hope I haven't offended anyone by refusing to sit and deciding to stand. But however, and in whatever manner I deliver the message, the important thing to me is that you grab the message and you run with it. So today, I decided to bring you knowledge from the weekend events. Alright, those of you who are following me on my social media platforms would remember and would know that I had an event at the weekend where I was invited as a panelist to a program in Manchester, and I sat alongside many other seasoned professionals, especially from the engineering world. And we all rubbed minds together, we shared ideas, people asked questions, some brilliant questions were asked, and some brilliant answers were provided. So I still give kudos to the organizers of those events, the Nigerian Society of Engineers Manchester branch. They did a real good job in putting up that event. And then on Saturday, that was on Friday, we went to Manchester. On Saturday, the next day, I was also holding a program in Birmingham, organized by the Equa Church, where they invited me to speak on financial prudence and the mortgage systems in the UK. So those were two fabulous events, and loads of information and knowledge were shared. I can't give you everything that I gave in those two programs, because I'm really short of time. Time would not permit me to go as deep as I went in that program. But I'll try as much as possible to bring you droplets and nuggets and a little bit of what we all enjoyed in that program. So I'm going to start with one of the very important questions that was asked on Friday, about people who are here on student visa, people who are in the UK on student visa and who want to buy properties. If they are on student visa, they were asking if it's possible for them to buy property while they are on student visas. While they are on student visa. And so in tackling that question, I just made it clear to them that, look, wanting to buy a property while you're on student visa is almost impossible. Why I said it's almost impossible is because it depends on how you want to buy the property. If you're looking to buy that property using a mortgage, then it's impossible basically, because first of all, there is a serious limitation on how many hours you are allowed to work as a student, international students I mean, especially here. So you're allowed to work only 20 hours a week. And even going by the minimum wage, even if the minimum wage is £10.50 an hour, on 20 hours a week, you can only earn about £210 a week. So £210 a week amounts to about 10,000 plus a year. assuming you are working 52 weeks of the year without any break. So on £10,000 per annum income, how much exactly really can you borrow? You can borrow, even if you're on 5 times income multiple, you can borrow maximum of about £50,000 in mortgage. And with mortgage of £50,000, how much deposits do you have that you can add to it and then buy a property for yourself on a student visa? That's only on the income side of things. And then the lenders also have their own criteria as to what sort of visas they are willing to lend mortgage, to lend money to. So if you're on student visa, there's a great deal of prohibition, from the lender's side in terms of lending to applicants who are on student visa. Because the reason is simple. You are an international student, you've come here to study. What is the guarantee that after studying that you are going to settle here? What is the guarantee that after studying that you're going to get a job here? What is the guarantee that you're going to become a permanent resident in this country? Because you're on student visa, you can finish studying and go back to your country and start working. You can finish studying and travel out somewhere else and get a job and start working there. So on student visa, the income limitation and the limitation from lenders in terms of categories of applicants that they are lending money to, you are greatly disadvantaged in that area. However, I said, if you are on student visa and you've got the cash and you want to buy a property outrightly in cash, nothing stops you from doing that. If you've got your cash and the seller is ready to sell, why not? Put your cash forward, get a solicitor, do the conveyancing, and the property becomes yours. There are people here who are on student visa whose parents are rich enough to buy a property in their name. They give them money, they bought the property, and they bought it in their child's name who is studying here. The child lives in that property, the property is in their name, and they own the property. There is nothing wrong in doing that. As long as your parents can afford it, or your guardians can afford it, or your sponsors can afford it, and the means, the source of funds is verifiable and verified, nothing stops you from buying the property in cash as a student. But to use a mortgage to buy a property here, it's really, really difficult, if not impossible, for a student to buy a property here on mortgage because of some of the things that I have mentioned here. Visa limitations, lender prohibitions, and income limitations. So that's that on the part of buying a property on student visa. The other important aspects of the learning that we had over the weekend was where I was talking about, lifetime ISAs, LISA as we call them in short, using lifetime ISAs to buy a property. How can somebody buy a property using a lifetime ISA? First of all, what are lifetime ISAs? You see, lifetime ISAs are one of those products or packages or schemes that are out there that is meant to encourage people to save. And there are only two purposes that savings could serve you. Either to buy your first property or to save for later life. Okay? So for lifetime ISAs, this is how it works. It's only available for, you are only eligible to open a lifetime ISA if you are over the age of 18 and under the age of 40. So if you are over 40, you cannot open a lifetime ISA. If you are under 18, you cannot open a lifetime ISA. So if you fall within that age bracket, that's the first step. The next step and the next thing you then got to do is to open that lifetime ISA and pay in money into it. Now this is what the government is going to do. When you pay money into that lifetime ISA, the government is going to give you a 25% bonus on top of that money you pay into the lifetime ISA. And the maximum you can pay into your lifetime ISA annually, the annual allowance on the lifetime ISA is £4,000 per annum for 2022-23. So £4,000 per annum. Let's say you max out that £4,000 in that year. It means the government is going to give you a bonus of 25%, which is extra £1,000 into their account. I can hear somebody saying, just like that. Yes, just like that. Okay, that's what the government is doing. So they pay extra 25% bonus into that account. So instead of £4,000, you now have £5,000 in that account, after that year. So that £5,000 is there, it becomes yours, it remains yours. If for example, you are looking to buy a property, you are saving to buy a property, say in the next 5 years, and you intend to max out that lifetime ISA in that next 5 years, it means in 5 years you would have saved £20,000 into the lifetime ISA. And in that 5 years again, the government would have given you extra £5,000. So what you have after 5 years is £25,000 in that lifetime ISA. So how then do you use it? So what happens is, whenever you are ready to buy your own property, your first property and your only property, at the point of exchange, that money can be used as a deposit. Okay? That money can be used as a deposit to buy that property. Your solicitor will start the process of getting that fund released from your lifetime ISA account to be used at the exchange process. Now, remember, one critical point to note on lifetime ISAs is that you can only use that lifetime ISA 12 months after you started paying into the lifetime ISA. So that lifetime ISA must be about 12 months old at least before you can use it. So it's not a question of, I put 4,000 in there in January, in February the government gives me £1,000, it becomes £5,000, and then I go there and I draw that money out and I take it out. I've robbed the government of £1,000 in 1 month. Let me tell you what's going to happen if you do that. If you withdraw that money from that lifetime ISA before the time that, or for any other reason apart from what the purpose, these two purposes of buying your first property and saving for later life. That saving for later life means you can withdraw that money from the age of 60, right? So it's either you use to buy your first property, or you can only draw down on that from the age of 60. And the other important point is that you can no longer contribute into the lifetime ISA when you are over 50. Once you clock 50, you stop contributing into it. Whatever is left in there is either you use it to buy your first property, or you wait until you're 60 before you start drawing down on it. So apart from these two purposes, okay, if you want to draw down on that fund for any other purpose apart from buying your first property or when you turn 60, what will happen is that you'll be penalized. You'll be penalized for drawing down or withdrawing that money for any other reason apart from this, or withdrawing it before the time that is specified on that. 25% charge is your penalty. And that 25% charge will now be on the total balance on that account at the time you came to draw. At the time you came to withdraw that money. So if for example what you put in there was £800, you deposit £800 into the account, and the government gave you 25% bonus of £200. That makes it £1,000, right? Yes, you're £1,000 rich, courtesy of the government's extra £200. And then all of a sudden you feel like, okay, I want to withdraw this money, I want to take this money, I'm not buying a new property, and I'm not yet up to the age of 60, I want my money. Fine, you can have your money. But the government is now going to charge you 25% of the total value of that fund that you're drawing down on, which is the total £1,000. So they're going to charge you £250, and you're going home with £750. So you're actually going to go home with less than what you put into the account prior to you receiving that bonus. So you're actually financially worse off with that penalty if that penalty is applied. And somebody might be asking, but I mean, it's my money. I shouldn't be taking less than what I put in there. And it's my money, I should be able to take it when I need it. What if I'm under pressure? What if I'm under financial pressure and I need money and I need to withdraw money, as quickly as possible? Nobody's saying you cannot withdraw your money. Nobody's saying that it's not your money. I mean, if you're under financial pressure, yes, you have a right to go and withdraw the money, but the conditions will still apply. I think there was these conditions were a bit relaxed during COVID. I think they reduced the penalty from 25% to 20% during the COVID period for people who wanted to access that money. So they relaxed the conditions a bit during COVID. And then after COVID now, everything has come back to normal again. If you have the lifetime ISA and you wish to withdraw from that and you're not withdrawing for any of those two purposes for which it was meant, this penalty will apply. So you can see that this package, it's a way of supporting first-time buyers, especially considering the fact that Help to Buy ISA has ended, Help to Buy equity loan scheme has ended. So there is little help out there for first-time buyers, really. And first-time buyers are like asking, so how do we buy a property? What is there? What options are there for us? What is out there to help us towards saving for buying a property or towards helping us buy a property in the first place? So lifetime ISA is one option that a first-time buyer can explore to see if that will help them. But lifetime ISA, it simply means that you have to be willing to wait patiently enough. Because if you put money there, you can't really use it to buy that property until 12 months after you have paid in the first deposit into the account. So you have to be patient. It means that it's not something you put in now and use it tomorrow. It's not a scheme that is, a ready-made scheme ready to help you from day one to buy a property. It's a scheme that is meant to prepare you and help you prepare for buying a property. So, but then, if you do not want to use it for the purpose of buying a property, you can use it to save for later life. So imagine saving into that account and maximizing that that lifetime ISA until you're age 50. So if you are young now, that's a massive advantage for you. Let's say you're 25 years old now, and you want to open a lifetime ISA. You open a lifetime ISA and you know that you will stop paying into that lifetime ISA when you clock 50. It means you have 25 years to pay into that scheme and be receiving 25% every single year in that scheme. So assuming you max out that £4,000 every year. Yeah? So it simply means that every year you receive £1,000 extra from the government. You pay £4,000 this year, you receive £1,000. So £1,000 multiplied by 25 years. In 25 years, the government has given you free £25,000 in 25 years. I mean, that in some investments or some savings account that you have, you may not even have up to that, because that is £100,000 paid in, £25,000 received, guaranteed, for 25 years based on the maximum of £4,000 every year. I don't know of too many savings accounts that can give you that. So some of these schemes are schemes that some people do not even know that it exists, and they don't even know that they can take advantage of that. So lifetime ISA is one of those schemes that first-time buyers can actually use if they are looking to save to buy their first property. But if you are not using it to save for your first property, you can use it to save for retirement or for later life, which is you can withdraw from it. You can withdraw it from age 60. Okay, so that's one scheme. For first-time buyers as well, there is something called the Deposit Unlock Scheme. Okay, now the Deposit Unlock Scheme is not very popular at this moment in time, but I reckon it's going to be more popular by next year, by the time the Help to Buy equity loan scheme completely finishes. But before I talk about the Deposit Unlock Scheme, let me talk about why I feel it's going to be a little more popular in relation to how it's connected to the Help to Buy equity loan scheme. Now, the Help to Buy equity loan scheme, you can no longer apply for it because application closed on the 31st of October, just 2 days ago. So with the Help to Buy equity loan scheme, the condition there is that your builder must have assured you or guaranteed you that your property will be physically ready to move in, physically completed by 31st of December 2022. Okay? And then it should be ready for completion, that is the final completion, but that's the legal completion by 31st of March 2023. Those are the conditions that the government has given. So if you have applied for Help to Buy equity loan scheme, the one that closed on the 31st of October, your property to be eligible, and for you to be eligible for that scheme, your property must meet these two deadlines. So you are expected to speak to your builder and confirm, and let them reassure you and confirm to you that by 31st of December, the property would have been physically completed, like ready to move in. The building has finished. And then that your solicitor or your conveyancer should be able to convince you that by 31st of March 2023, the legal work would have completed. You would have collected your keys by 6 p.m. on the 31st of March 2023. Those are the two conditions. Now, how deposit unlock scheme comes in here is, because the equity loan scheme, the Help to Buy equity loan scheme enables you to put down 5% deposits, and the government gives you 20% to support your deposit scheme, or 40% depending on which part of the country you're in. That means you can benefit from a low deposit scheme with Help to Buy equity loan scheme. With deposit unlock scheme, this is a scheme that has been put together by a conglomerate of builders. You know, the House Builders Federation. And this is a federation of, you know, most of the big developers and builders in this country. So they came together and they put this scheme together, where you can put down 5% deposits, and then they will insure your mortgage from your lender. So they will insure that mortgage against the risk of, you know, you being unable to pay the mortgage when you take it out. So they've made that arrangement with lenders to say, lend this money to this person, will insure that mortgage and will guarantee it. Okay? And then the lender, based on that and the level of trust that they have in those builders, can now lend you 95% value of that property, as long as your income can carry that 95%. So you still have to be able to prove that you can afford 95% of that mortgage. So you can then use that 95% mortgage to buy that property. Because I've mentioned builders and developers, automatically you should know that this applies to new builds only. So the property has to be a new build. And this scheme is available to both first-time buyers and home movers. Remember that the equity loan scheme, before it ended in October, was only available to first-time buyers only, when the government redesigned the package and the scheme. But this deposit unlock scheme is available not just to first-time buyers, but also to home movers who want to borrow, 95% mortgage, or who want to put down 5% deposit. So it makes 5% deposit attractive. And with the deposit unlock scheme, you do not need to take 20% equity loan from the government. It means the 95% mortgage will be made available to you in your own capacity, depending on your affordability, and if the lenders are happy that you can afford the mortgage. Now, that scheme, that deposit unlock scheme, is not very popular yet, both among lenders and among borrowers. Probably because the Help to Buy equity loan scheme was taking care of people who had low or small deposits. But now, the deposit unlock scheme, I reckon from next year, is going to be more popular. And what's happening is, only 3 lenders currently are signed up to that deposit unlock scheme. So there is really shortage of lender options with the deposit unlock scheme. So you will struggle to find lenders who are willing to lend to you based on that scheme. So only 3 lenders currently are subscribed to it. Only 3 lenders currently are part of that scheme. And I'm sure the House Builders Federation are working hard to get more lenders on board. And that's why I said I reckon by next year it's going to be more popular, because people who are first-time buyers who are really looking to buy a property and they haven't got that much of a deposit might start looking at the deposit unlock scheme to see if that's an option for them. And if it's an option for them and if the lenders that are in that scheme agree to lend them 95% mortgage, then yes, why not? Okay, so that is that for the lenders for the deposit unlock scheme. So look out for the deposit unlock scheme next year, and I'm sure that by next year you'll be hearing more of that. There is, there is a huge difference anyway between the deposit unlock scheme and the help to buy equity loan scheme. But I wouldn't spend time talking about equity loan scheme because the scheme is finished anyway. So there is no point dwelling on that and talking about it. So that's what we talked about in that program. The other question that came up also in that program was about people who are not on student visas, but who are on other types of visas, other types of work visas. How would they be able to buy a property? So if you don't have indefinite leave to remain, and you don't have British citizenship or other kinds of citizenship that automatically qualifies you to get a mortgage, it does not mean you cannot get a mortgage on other types of work visas. It does not mean that because you don't have indefinite leave to remain, you cannot get a mortgage. If anybody says that, that person is not telling you the truth. The truth of the matter is you can actually get a mortgage on some other kinds of work visas that are not indefinite leave to remain. But there are 2 things involved. There are very few lenders who will be willing to lend to you, say up to 90% loan to value if you're on that kind of work visa. There are other lenders who, that's where you have more options, who are willing to lend to you if you don't have indefinite leave to remain, but if you can come up with at least 25% deposits. So if you have 25% deposits and you don't have indefinite leave to remain, there's nothing wrong in you approaching a mortgage advisor like myself. I work with Independent Mortgage and Loan Company. We're FCA authorized and regulated. We're whole of market, right? You come to us and then we look at your visa, and then we approach lenders who we know that their criteria fits your circumstance. And then they will say, okay, you've got 25% deposit, here is 75% loan to value mortgage. So there are other lenders who can lend to you up to 90% if you are on other types of work visas and if you have lived in this country for a minimum number of years. Some lenders will lend to you if you have lived in this country for at least 2 years and you can demonstrate that you've lived and worked here for 2 years or more. You've got lenders who are willing to lend to you. There are lenders who will lend to you even if you have lived here for less than 2 years, but you have 25% deposits and you still have 6 months valid visa left on your visa. There are lenders who are willing to. So it's all about exploring your options. So what I'm saying is, do not give up. Don't just assume that you cannot get a mortgage because you're on a particular type of visa. Speak to a mortgage advisor first, find out what your options are, and then go from there. All right, folks, this is where we're going to round it up today, and I hope this has been very useful to you. These are just some of the nuggets and little things that we talked about. That program over the weekend was really loaded. There was so much more that we talked about. The YouTube video will be available very soon. Keep an eye on our Modesty Property Consultants YouTube page. That's is where you catch all the videos that we have done, both the things we have done here and the things we have done outside of this place. And like, subscribe, and share our videos when you see them, please, because that helps us reach out to many more people. Till then, I'll see you guys again next week. Before next week, I'll see you on Monday on our Modesty's Money Masterclass. God bless you all. Take care and goodbye.